Welcome back to Rotor Ramble. I'm Danny Engesser.
And I'm Kevin Barber.
And we are back. It's been a while. We hadn't forgotten about you. I hope you didn't forget about us. We have a few things to talk about today. Yeah, we've been a little busy. Life, drones, all that stuff. Our main focus today, we're going to be talking about it's the Knoxville Air Show and Family Festival. Some people are just calling it Knoxville Air Show. We went to that. What was the 30th of last month?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. One of the ways we've been very busy was doing an air show.
That was
participating in that
fun experience. So we'll be talking about that and what it took to get all that set up and how that went. And to show you some pictures, and maybe we'll throw some video in too. But yeah, that was a very cool day. Right off the top, I just want to say, if you want to follow us on our social networks, we've got rotorramble.com, where we will be posting episodes there. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube or your favorite podcast service. We're on Spotify and Amazon and Google. I'm hearing Google's might be going away, so
that's what I heard.
Yeah,
I had a friend who uses Android asking me for suggestions, and I'm like, I'm an iOS guy, so
yeah. Apple Podcasts will be there. We're there too, and Facebook and Instagram. We're all the places. We're almost everywhere. But yeah, and we also had a cool experience a couple days ago. Kevin and I, we got to we kind of want to throw out props to a guy who traveled all the way from Alaska. Some of you Anchorage, yeah. Some of you may or may not know a guy named Jake Sloan, and he's kind of a solo creator, photographer, filmmaker, drone extraordinaire. I mean, he does drone reviews and does tips and all sorts of things related to drones and photography. Does beautiful work. You should check out his YouTube channel. His website's jakesloan.com. He's approaching 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So go there, subscribe, and let's get his numbers up so he can get one of those nice, cool plaques, the 100 subscriber.
Yeah, let's see if we can push him over the edge.
Yeah. But Kevin and I, we'll show you a picture here. Kevin and I got to meet up with him on what's today? We're recording this on Wednesday.
It was Sunday.
Wow.
It was Sunday.
A few days ago.
Yeah.
That was a very cool experience. He was in town and for a gig, and we were able to get a slice of his time to just hang out and chat drones. And I just want to say to Jake that I was really, really appreciative that he was able to do that. And it was kind of a surreal experience. It's one of these people that you watch on YouTube and you see him in person, and so it's really cool. And he's much taller than he may appear on video. I'm 6'6". He's probably 6'5", I think. I don't know, but we were very. You'll see in the picture, we're right up there together.
I was the short guy.
Yeah. So thank you to Jake. I don't know if you had anything more to say about that, Kevin, but
yeah, no, it was really cool hearing about his process, how he goes out and all the work he puts into his reviews. He's not just somebody that shows a drone unboxing from the desk or something like that. He's putting it through his paces and really going out and testing the equipment he's reviewing in real world. I mean, it's Alaska. That's rough.
Extreme
that's
world.
Real world, is it? Yes.
He's climbing mountains, going in ice caves, using helicopters to, and he's flown all sorts of things. He does everything from FPV to Cinelifters and all the DJI products and stuff too. So he definitely has a good experience. With all
I was just watching his just before this. I was just watching his review of the Mini 4 that came out, and I mean, it was literally posted just a few hours ago, and
cool.
He was out. He took that in ice caves. I thought I heard him say he hiked over 100 miles with that. I mean, come on, that's worth some subscribes right there. 100 miles hiking just to review that Mavic Mini. So, or the Mini 4.
Yeah.
So definitely cool. And just, beautiful images. He definitely can get, he can put his sensor where his mouth is, I guess. So
yeah, he does some impressive work for sure. He also has a week, is it weekly, where he does a live stream. It's he calls it like a creators studio type thing where it's like a Q&A, kind of like a Joshua Bardwell thing where people can join the chat and ask questions about photography, drones, Alaska. One time I asked him about his hat. He was very kind to read that question. So yeah, just a cool guy.
And I thought it was neat. Just even listening to him talk. I asked him more personal questions, just finding out who he was and more about his life. And I don't want to share too much because it's not mine to share. But he really had a cool background and a good story. Just on the personal side of things too. I really enjoyed just chatting with him, and honestly, to me, it felt like I was just chatting with an old friend. I kind of forgot that I had just met him a few minutes before. So
yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it did. It felt like I knew him like the moment when I saw him. So hopefully he had a good time in Des Moines and had good travels and everything. But it was just really cool to hang out for sure. What else we got? Do you want to go right into the air show stuff? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can definitely talk about the air show.
Okay. You want to kind of talk about how we got involved with that, and we can go from there?
Yeah, so Danny and I are both admins, as we've mentioned a few times, I'm sure, on the Des Moines UAV Club on Facebook, where we obviously not only have people in Des Moines, we've got people all over Iowa who join the group. And just so happened that we got messaged by one of the people helping to organize the air show, and she had reached out to several of us and kind of posted on our group, making sure we saw the message. Hey, they had been talking with as the board for the air show, and they thought, hey, let's make sure we've got all aspects of aviation covered, and realized they didn't have any drone representation, and really wanted to bring in a group to be able to kind of show off the unmanned aspect of aviation. I happened to be the one that caught the message first and started interacting with her on that, and kind of took organizing it as my task. So we kind of treated it as we kind of opened it up for the group. It was a little bit, mostly on my side, we were a little delayed on getting information out. So, if we do this again, we'll definitely try to have a better idea of what we're doing and get the word out sooner and a little better organized, hopefully.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, we had 3 guys there, you, me, and Nathaniel Brown, who's in the group. And he brought this big ass ag drone that is probably costs more than your car. And we had a variety of drones that we brought. We brought FPV drones. We brought GPS camera drones. We brought a simulator, which was very popular. But yeah, having a few more people would allow us to do more things next year, or, whenever we do that kind of thing. So, keep your eye out for those people who are local and in the Des Moines UAV Club, keep your eyes out there. We'll keep trying to do that kind of event. It's cool. Just like, apparently I had met Nathaniel. I don't remember when, but apparently we had met, and I had forgotten, but he had not. So I was embarrassed that I was like, introduced myself, and he's like, yeah, we've met. I'm like, oh no. So I apologize, Nathaniel, if you're listening. But
he's definitely listening.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know he's listening.
I know he is. Yeah. But he's super cool, and I would do events with him again too. It was awesome that he was able to bring what he brought and his knowledge, and I know the people there appreciated being able to ask him questions as well.
Yeah. So that egg drone, it had just to kind of talk a little bit about it. We got to pull out the batteries. It was, a big briefcase sized battery, and just an enormous drone. We did not get a chance to fly it while we we're there.
Or ride it.
We didn't get to ride it either. I know. But it was pretty cool hearing about that. Any questions we had about it, we just kind of directed him over to Nathaniel's way. And yeah, just go talk to that guy about it. It's pretty cool. And so I think it had eight motors, 8 props, single battery, but then it had a payload. I think he said around 100 plus pounds, 120 pounds maybe. It could either do dry fertilizer or spray fertilizer, or
M&Ms.
Really, really cool. M&Ms, I'm sure. Yeah.
Try it.
Clean out the tank very well before you toss the M&Ms.
That'd be something. Yeah, that was my first time ever seeing a drone that big. I think previous, the Inspire line is probably the biggest.
I remember one of the news stations had a pretty big drone too.
Yeah.
We got to see it. That
was an M300 or something like that.
I
forget what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that channel was a 13 that came out for the drone day.
Whichever one it was, but yeah, that was I think previously the largest one I had seen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that was,
unless you count the Ryse drone that I saw, not the drone, the ultralight.
Yeah. We'll show pictures of that here.
Yeah, and me sitting in it.
Yes.
Check that out. I'm happy to be in there.
Yeah, that was
not
cool.
Flying it, unfortunately.
You want to talk about that experience a little bit? I don't think we've talked about that on the show
yet. Sure, I can. Actually, Nathaniel again. He I think we were talking about something, and he messaged me and said, "Hey, we're gonna have this drone for a demo at Landis, where he works, and not drone. I need to stop saying drone, but this vehicle.
What do they call those?
Yeah. So I got a chance. Actually, I've got the Ryse. I don't know how I can see how well that'll work, but
is that a sticker?
That is a business card, Ryse Aerotech.
Oh.
And I got to meet with the CEO there who actually did the demo, and got to, and then I was actually able to fly my drone around that aircraft with their coordination and just keeping a safe distance, but got them some publicity photos of it and kind of a little bit of the event as well.
Is that considered an experimental aircraft?
It's actually considered an ultralight.
Okay.
So as I understand it, you do not need any special certifications or licensing to be able to fly that.
Isn't that ridiculous? And yet our little drone.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
I made that same comment. Yep.
Probably no remote ID, right?
Well, you know who's flying that because they're sitting in it, I think is probably the argument there.
Yeah. Can it be flown remotely though? I bet it can.
That's a good question. I don't think it can.
I bet it can. That's how they probably tested it. I think so.
Maybe.
Where are they? Do you know where they're based out of?
They're out of Ohio.
Okay.
So I think the Cincinnati area. So I don't know how sincere the invite was, but I said, can I fly it? He said, not here, but if you come to our facility, we can put you in it and let you fly it. So
Ohio is the
I don't know if he's.
I was just going to say Ohio is the home of the Dum Dum Sucker Factory and the Ohio Art Company, who makes Etch-a-Sketch. I happen to know that because my mom is from there. So we got to tour those factories on a few visits. So, but cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. I was hoping to attend that event and wasn't able to make it for whatever reason, but would have been very cool.
Yeah, it was a very fast, impromptu thing. It was.
Did they talk about their vision for what that craft might be, like a racing type thing, or like just a mobile, thing to get from work to home, or?
Yeah, so I think their target market is really anybody who wants to fly that thing. But I think the use case that was pitched, while they were there, it was an agriculture event, so.
Okay.
One of the big use cases that they were kind of talking about there was like for ranchers or somebody that wants to check on their animals out in the fields or out in a ranch where you've got a long distance to cover and maybe have fences or tree lines in the way. Instead of opening the gates and going around the fence and spending all that time going up and down hills, you can just cruise right over them.
Nice.
At least that's the idea. I don't know how much pricing is. I know that was your next question. If you have to ask, you can't afford it. I definitely can't afford it because I asked.
But if they want to give me a couple, I'll take two.
You got to have one for a friend.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be able to race a little bit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so interestingly, on that aircraft, it was six engines, 6 rotors, and it actually each one independently had its own battery, which I kind of liked. And then I said, well, how many can you lose? You've got 6. How many can it fly on minimum? And he said they've tested it with 4. They've actually flown it with 4 props going. And so I'm not sure if that has to be a specific 4, like if 2 next to each other can go out or can't go out. Mm-hmm. I didn't ask too many details, didn't have that much time to really interrogate him on it, but I've got his card if I need to follow up questions. So cool. If anybody needs that, if they're in the market for expensive ATV, the other interesting thing that I didn't expect is it can actually land on water and take off from water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't.
So
just trying to picture the aircraft again, and it doesn't seem like it could do that, but I guess they can.
They've got some pictures on their website, Ryse Aerotech, and we'll put a link to that in the show notes and on the description on our website, and we'll link you in if you can check out their website and their social media for pictures of water landings, awesome. Water takeoffs, and just flying in general. Very cool. But it was kind of cool as he said it's super easy to fly. I think it had two joysticks, so probably fairly similar to flying a DJI drone. And as soon as he took off, he just put his hands up and was just showing that he didn't have to have hands on the sticks to maintain a hover.
Just like I do on the interstate. No. I know I derailed an
endorsed style of driving.
Yeah. I know I derailed the conversation about the air show. I just wanted to say, cool. I thought the air show was really well organized. I mean, I've only been to a couple air shows, and this is the first one I've ever been involved with. So I want to thank Kevin for asking me to be a part of it too. But I want to thank the the people who put it on and the sponsors, and I just thought it went off really well. There was free food there, free music, and a lot of great entertainment. I mean, the whole event was free, right? I mean, I bought a t-shirt, but there were stunt planes, and you could walk around, look at the aircrafts, stop by the drone zone, which is what our area was called, was the drone zone. How many drones do you think we had?
Not our name for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I had four drones, 5 drones maybe. So you had a bunch.
We probably had about 15 drones there total, I'm gonna guess, roughly. Yeah. I brought like 8 or 9, I think.
We had definitely had the full range from little drones. We showed off our FPV drones. I got to fly the FPV drone a little bit. Flew the Mavic 3 Pro a little bit, with, of course, permission and coordination outside the TFR.
You're seeing now some footage that Kevin shot on his FPV drone, kind of doing some demonstrations there. And I was his visual observer. Take note. We had a visual observer.
Observed the entire time. Got to play around with the new remote ID module.
Yeah. From Flight Tests. Was it the Easy
Flight Test?
Was it called Easy Flight or Easy ID? I forget.
Yes, the Flight Test Easy ID.
What's your to derail the conversation about the air show again? What's been your experience with that so far?
You know, it does what it says it does. I was able to. Obviously, I wasn't watching my phone while I was flying it, but I was able to. I was able to follow on one of the apps, and it reported the drone's location just like it's supposed to. With the broadcast module, you don't need to have the operator's current location. There's not a good way to technically do that. So it does show where it took off from, and you can watch where it lands, I guess.
It did show up. I remember the time I tested it with you, and it showed up on the drone scanner app on an iPhone. Some people have been wondering about iPhone compatibility. So I can attest to that was working.
Yeah, so whereas my Mavic 3 Pro does not show up on my iPhone drone scanner apps, this one did. So for what that's worth.
Cool. Yeah, we were, a lot of the drones that we were showing off, we at the air show, don't have remote ID, but we did have, the ones that flew were compliant. And, there's an extra level of pressure there when the FAA is there. We want to definitely put on a good face there and representation of the proper way to do things. But we also want to be able to expose people to all kinds of drones. So, I mean, I think the cheapest one we had there was like a $20 toy drone that, I would say flies. I mean, it's not, I've had a Tello, so I know what a Tello can do. It's not, I would not call it a robot like a Tello, like a robot drone. I mean, you can't pre-program it and stuff, but I would say it flies inside just as well as a Tello. For a $20 drone, I was very impressed. There's no camera on it, but, and it doesn't.
It's under 250 grams if you wanted to fly it outside.
Definitely. Yeah, that's definitely the case. I don't know. Do you have any other, let's see. So with the air show, I mean, what was your favorite part? Did we talk about your 360 yet?
We didn't yet.
So Kevin I'll let him talk about it, but he took this really awesome high resolution shot that he'll talk about here.
Yeah, so one of the things I've been playing around with recently, DJI released updated firmware for the Mavic 3 Pro. One of the things that I've always been kind of a nerd with 360 photos. And so when I got the drone, I was thinking, man, it would be cool if you could take high resolution 360s with that 3x zoom. And sure enough, they finally enabled that with one of the later firmwares, and takes 106 images. It ends up being a file. The stitched together file ends up being too large to import back into Lightroom.
Amazing.
Which I even told Jake Sloan this, that, yep, I found the limit. He didn't even know that there was a limit on Lightroom. I didn't know it until I tried to pull it into Lightroom. Camera Raw wouldn't open it within Photoshop, but I could open it in Photoshop. But anyway, yeah. So the process is kind of interesting in that I edited all the photos, 106 photos, synchronized edits in Lightroom, exported them out. I use PT GUI in order to stitch them together. That did a great job. I don't think I had to even correct any of the stitching with this one.
Is that a free app software, or?
There's a free demo. It is not a free app. And at some point we'll just have to let me geek out over
absolutely
360 photos in the process, because I could go on for quite a while about it. But yeah, so then I took it into Lightroom. I spent some time in couple different apps to do a couple different things and make it look nice and smooth. But what's really cool is just being able to zoom in and get incredible detail. Unfortunately, I can't even share those files on Facebook at that resolution. It's just way too high for that. I do have software for my photography business, and I do 360 virtual tours. So I'm able to self-host that file, and I have not found a limit yet to those files that it puts it on. So we'll definitely put up the link to that, and you can go explore the air show from the air, and see all the cool planes, see the vendors that were there. If you find something interesting in there, so first of all, look for us in the drone zone tent. You'll see me flying the drone. I've got somebody standing over my shoulder watching me fly. Comment and let us know what things you see in that that maybe we missed. Maybe there's something cool in there. Maybe there's somebody picking their nose. I don't know.
Just create an Easter egg hunt or something on that.
Exactly. Yep. So let us know what you find in there. There could be some cool things.
Knowing what you know now about this type of air show, do you think, and with your experience with 360 tours, do you think it would be cool to have multiple locations around there, and you could like jump to that point and pivot around? Or
yeah, that's something I definitely wanted to do. Obviously with the people at the air show, it was a little more difficult. This photo was taken early on when I showed it to our contact we were working with. Her comment was, boy, that must've been early, because there was a lot more people that showed up. And there was a good number of people that showed up. What you can see in it is, you'll see a bunch of small single engine, mostly airplanes. There's even some classic airplanes. And those were people that flew into the air show. And it's put on every year by Fly Iowa, which is the Iowa Aviation Promotion Group. As I understand, it's an air show that really travels, it's a fly-in that travels each year, and they have different small airports that it's at. So, hopefully we'll be able to get to another one, in the next location where they have that. And but I think it's different organizers each year. So, our contacts that we made, we might get new contacts, and that would be kind of cool.
It helped that the weather was so nice that day too. I mean, I got a little too much sun, but as protected as we were, we had some tents, and I think someone donated the tent for us to use, so I appreciate that.
Let us borrow.
Let us borrow.
And
yes.
I do need to return them still. So I'm on it. I'll be returning it. I'm definitely not. Just think of it as free storage.
Yes, exactly. But I was definitely appreciative of that. But it was definitely a nice day. I mean, they were able to get the aircraft, the manned aircraft up, and some people might even be wondering about how we were able to fly during an air show, fly drones. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? There was I'll just let you.
So there was a TFR in place for the actual aerial demonstration where they had the acrobatic planes and the stunt pilots, that sort of thing that was going on. So during that time, we did not. We had talked about potentially flying, but we did not end up flying during that TFR. So. But because it was an event where people are flying in, they did have, the airspace was open and technically not during the TFR at that point. Obviously, I was being extremely careful. I knew where the aircraft was coming in, and I was not going. It wasn't a very interesting flight because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't in any way interfering. So I basically just kind of went up around a little bit and landed. So not at all my most interesting flights, but it was fun to be able to demonstrate that. Got a few pictures with, kids looking over my shoulder, watching themselves on the screen, and I'd take the drone up and, hey, wave to the drone, and, fun stuff like that.
Probably the first time for a lot of them seeing drones that fast and maneuverable, and a lot of people get to experience just your goggles. You were playing back video for them too when you weren't flying, and I think people really got a good sense of what that was like. And the simulator that was pretty popular. We had a FPV simulator. For those that don't know what acro is, I left it on acro to keep the line moving. But it was surprising actually how many people, I mean, you think about how long we spent in the simulator. There's some kids that came up and picked that up surprisingly fast. There was one guy who was showing off how he could fly with one stick. He's like, okay, if I get this stick right here, I just maneuver the other one. And to some degree that's valid, but a little bit more than that.
It's something I never even tried with FPV. Just flying with just a single stick. That was, it kind of goes to show you how getting kids involved in aviation and drones is important to innovation, and they're looking at things completely differently than what we look at. So that's, just getting on a soapbox here, but that's really what this event was intended for, was to get youth involved with aviation, and really to just promote aviation. So, I mean, I'm going to hurt my shoulder trying to pat myself on the back too hard here, but it was great to see how interested the kids were.
Yeah, it was good. And we had a pretty steady stream of people. I don't think we ever felt bored. We were there 3 to 4 hours, something like that. And it was, whether it was people with questions or just wanted to see the drones or whatever, it was a steady stream, I'd say.
Yeah, with the free food, I was hoping to be able to get a little more time for the free food, but it was, I had to sneak away and it was each doing it in shifts so that we could keep talking drones.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you want to talk about with the air show or anything else? I'm trying to think.
So there was a drone simulator, the booth or the tent next to us, and they actually had kind of a taken apart cockpit from probably a Cessna or some single engine plane. But that was Open Air Flight Club, is who had that. And Jeff Jorgensen, JJ Jorgensen, I guess, was actually an author of a book and talking about getting kids into aviation. So I know we'll put a link to their website up as well. They had their book there, and they're trying to fundraise to actually install, get this simulator from just kind of a plain empty cockpit to actually having panels that they can, have a real simulator on. So I think, again, the goal is to get kids involved into aviation. And I know they had their airplane. I think they're also a flight school. And so they had their plane there as well. And I believe they're based out of Knoxville, right across from the airport.
Oh, that's convenient. Yeah, the one complaint I would have with the air show is like I wish I had gotten out to the other vendors more. It was pretty much what I could skim on the way to get some free food. And I took in the stunt show, but I didn't really get a chance to spend time at any of the other booths, which I would have, as a spectator, had I not been working at a drone booth, I definitely would have spent a lot of time at the drone booth and other places of interest. But I think probably the longest place I spent time at other than ours was getting a t-shirt, so making the decision. I was impressed with even the selection of t-shirts that they had. There was it wasn't just like two colors and they had my size. I'm a big guy. So it was definitely nice to be able to not have to like special order something or whatever, I could get it.
Danny, you're a living example of the phrase, been there, done that, bought the shirt.
Yes. Bought the shirts. Oh, I'm wearing if it involves drones and tacos, count me in shirt today. So yeah, I love, whenever I do an event, if I can, I like to get a shirt. So, yeah, it was cool that they had that. And it looked cool too. It was a good logo.
I think one of the other
logo, I like that.
I think one of the other cool things that I liked in the show, they had a big military helicopter that came. That was fun watching that come in. The national anthem was sung. They had parachutes, people in parachutes. Skydivers. That's the word.
And here's video
skydivers come in with the flag.
I'm playing video of that right now.
Just being able to walk around the planes, they were, they were taxiing right and turning around right in front of where we were. So we kind of had to interrupt a few conversations just while the aircraft engines were going in front of us. But Danny, what did you think of the aerial performances?
It was awesome. Again, if I had another complaint, it would be like we had to stare into the sun to see the stunt planes, which was not ideal, but I don't think there's anything they could have done about that, just based on the arrangement of that airport and the time of day. But I'd rather do that than have to stand in rainy weather or something. So it was still cool, and I sacrificed my eyes to see the planes. And again, I didn't get to see as much of the flying that I wanted to, but what I did see was just amazing. Talented pilots out there. I don't know, it's just impressive to watch. I'm totally into that kind of thing. Got anything else about the air show?
Yeah, the one thing we didn't, it was a long day for us. I would have liked to have stayed longer for the Nadas concert.
Yeah.
Free admission to that, but we just standing in the sun and talking drones. It's amazing how much it took out of us, but we'll definitely have to do that again.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed the Nautas. I haven't been to a Nautas concert in a long time. They I think they were at Iowa State, the same time I was there. So they were playing all the time back then. And I was going to make a comment that my reference back to college. We were talking about skydivers, and I had this flashback of this time. I might have told you this before, Kevin, but this time that I was almost taken out by a skydiver. I was just walking along on the sidewalk.
I don't remember if I heard that, Danny.
So this was at Iowa State University, and there was some big event going on Central Campus. And little did I know there were skydivers, and I'm just trying to get to my class. I think I'm just walking down the sidewalk in the middle of campus, and all of a sudden I hear someone shouting from the air, like, "Look out!" And I look up, and like 20 feet from me is a skydiver coming in, and I literally hit the deck because I thought he was going to take me out, and then he lands like 5 seconds later. For whatever reason, I was focused on getting to class, and I was not looking up, and there was nobody to warn you that anything was happening until I heard that guy shout at me. So
nobody expects skydivers falling from the sky.
No, not at least not when I'm going to my class. I forget what that event was, but something big enough that they had skydivers landing in Central Campus, I guess. Ugh. But I'm here to tell the story, so that's good.
Nice.
Yay. Anything else? I can't think of anything. Any new remote ID stuff you want to talk about? Putting you on the spot.
I am on the spot on that. No, not really. I know there's a couple questions that people have had about whether or not they need remote ID. One of the rules of thumb I heard is basically if you're required, the simple way to think of it is if you're required to register your drone, you're required to have remote ID. So if your drone is under 250 grams and you're flying it as a hobbyist, you do not actually need to use remote ID, nor do you need to register. But if you're using it for Part 107, for anything for commercial, which requires you to use Part 107, then you do need to register that drone, and you need to use remote ID.
A couple other exceptions would be if you're flying in a FRIA. It's a piece of land that the FAA has designated an area where you can fly drones without remote ID. And we've talked a little bit about it before in our remote ID episode. You can go back and check that out. But that's an exception. Also flying indoors, if you're doing nothing but flying in your house or a gymnasium or something, you are not required to have remote ID. But if you're flying outside or under cover where your drone could escape into outside or a structure where your drone could escape into the national airspace, you are required to have remote ID. So anything else? I think we've kind of reached the end of what we wanted to hit today.
I think if there are questions that people have about drones in general, if they're if they're Part 107 related, if you want to ask us, we'd be happy to take some of those questions and see if we can answer them on one of our future podcasts. So go ahead and send those in to us, contact us through the website, through Facebook, whatever way.
YouTube comments.
Comments.
Let us know. Go ahead. Sorry, interrupt.
We'll read those comments and questions that you have.
Yeah, and let us know what you guys think of the show. What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you want to see more of, less of? Hopefully, we're doing. This isn't something we've ever done before, right? So we're kind of winging it, and we'll see where it takes us. But hopefully, you're getting something out of this, and we're at least educating you guys a little bit and having fun in the process. So
be kind in your comments. Go easy on us. We're new to this. But we're not new to drones.
Yes, we've been doing this for a while. So as long as I've been doing it, I'm still learning something every day. So I will say that I may know a lot, but I don't know everything. But I know if I don't know, at least I know I can ask Kevin, or I can ask another experienced pilot or organization and get a solid answer. So, all right. With that, I want to thank you guys for joining us. And hopefully you got something out of this and enjoy the discussion about the air show. And we will see you on the next one. Bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.